A Spartacus history video. He was a slave who defied an empire, a gladiator who became a legend, and a warrior who led one of the greatest rebellions in history. This is the story of Spartacus, the man who shook Rome to its core. Before we dive into his incredible journey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more epic history content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a legendary story like this one. Now, let's step into the arena and uncover the true history of Spartacus. The full story of Spartacus, the gladiator who defied Rome. Spartacus was a real historical figure, a Thracian warrior who led the most famous slave uprising against the Roman Republic. His rebellion, known as the Third Servile War, 73-71 BCE, was the largest and most dangerous slave revolt in Roman history. Below is a detailed account of his life and rebellion. 1. Early life of Spartacus. Spartacus was believed to be a Thracian, possibly from modern-day Bulgaria or the surrounding region. Thracians were known as fierce warriors and often served as mercenaries or auxiliaries in foreign armies. Some sources suggest that Spartacus may have been a soldier in the Roman army before being enslaved, but the details of his early life are uncertain. At some point, Spartacus was captured by the Romans, possibly for desertion or as a prisoner of war, and was sold into slavery. He was taken to the gladiator school in Capua, owned by Lentulus Batiatus. There, he was trained to fight in the arena for the entertainment of Roman elites. 2. The Gladiator Revolt, 73 BCE. Spartacus, along with around 70 other gladiators, planned an escape from the gladiator school. They overpowered their guards and seized weapons, including kitchen knives and makeshift clubs, before killing their captors and fleeing. After escaping, they raided a nearby caravan of gladiatorial weapons and armor, fully equipping themselves for battle. They then fled to Mount Vesuvius, a strategic location that provided both shelter and a defensible position. Key leaders of the rebellion. Spartacus, the overall leader and strategist. Crixus, a Gaulish gladiator who became Spartacus' second in command. Gannicus and Enemos, other skilled gladiators who played key roles in battles. 3. The growth of the slave army. At first, Rome underestimated the rebellion. The Senate sent a small militia force to deal with the escaped gladiators, but Spartacus and his men used their superior knowledge of the terrain and guerrilla warfare tactics to defeat them. As word spread, thousands of slaves and oppressed people from the countryside joined Spartacus. His army grew rapidly, reaching around 30,000 to 40,000 fighters within months. Why did slaves join Spartacus? Harsh treatment by Roman masters. A chance at freedom. Revenge against Rome for years of oppression. Spartacus not only welcomed slaves, but also disaffected Roman peasants and freedmen who had lost everything to Rome's economic and military policies. 4. Spartacus. Victories against Rome. As the rebellion grew, the Romans realized they faced a serious threat. They sent praetors and legions to crush the slave army. However, Spartacus proved to be an extraordinary military leader, defeating Roman forces in multiple battles. Battle of Mount Vesuvius, 73 BCE. A Roman force under Gaius Claudius Glaber surrounded Spartacus' forces at Mount Vesuvius. Glaber expected the rebels to starve, but Spartacus led his men down a steep, unguarded cliffside, surprising and slaughtering the Roman troops. Campaign across Italy, 73-72 BCE. Spartacus moved northward, defeating 2 Roman legions led by Publius Varinius. He planned to lead his followers out of Italy, possibly to Gaul or Thrace, where they could be free. However, Crixus and a faction of Gauls preferred to stay in Italy, raiding and plundering Roman towns. This created internal divisions within the slave army. 5. Rome's response. The rise of Crassus. By 72 BCE, Spartacus' army had grown to over 70,000 fighters, and Rome was in full panic. The Senate finally sent Marcus Licinius Crassus, Rome's wealthiest man, to lead a massive army against the rebels. Crassus took a brutal approach. He rebuilt Rome's defeated legions. He used decimation, executing one in every 10 soldiers, to enforce discipline. He trapped Spartacus in southern Italy, cutting off his escape. Final battles, 71 BCE. Spartacus tried to break out of Italy by making a deal with pirates to sail to Sicily, but the pirates betrayed him. Facing starvation and Roman encirclement, Spartacus attempted a final breakthrough but was eventually cornered by Crassus' army. The Battle of the Silarus River, 71 BCE, was the last stand of Spartacus and his army. 6. Death of Spartacus and the aftermath. Spartacus fought bravely to the end, but Roman sources claim his body was never found. The surviving rebels, about 6,000 men, were captured and crucified along the Appian Way, the main road leading to Rome. Crassus ordered all 6,000 crucified as a warning to future slaves who dared to rebel. 7. Spartacus. Legacy. Although Spartacus was ultimately defeated, his rebellion had a lasting impact on Rome and the world. Impact on Rome. Rome realized the danger of large slave populations, leading to reforms in how slaves were treated. Future rebellions were crushed more quickly and brutally. Crassus gained great power, eventually forming the first triumvirate with Julius Caesar and Pompey. Symbol of freedom and resistance. Spartacus became a symbol of resistance against oppression, inspiring revolutionaries throughout history. His story has been retold in books, films, and TV series, keeping his legacy alive. Conclusion. Spartacus' rebellion was one of the greatest uprisings in history. He was not just a gladiator, but a leader, strategist, and symbol of freedom. Though he fell in battle, his fight against the might of Rome remains one of the most legendary stories of resistance. Why did Spartacus fail? Spartacus came close to achieving a historic victory, but several factors led to his defeat. Here's why his rebellion ultimately failed. 1. Internal divisions in his army. Spartacus led an army of slaves, gladiators, and desperate people from different backgrounds: Thracians, Gauls, Germans, and Romans. These groups had different goals. Spartacus wanted to escape Italy and return home. Crixus and the Gauls preferred to stay in Italy and plunder Roman cities. This led to splits in the army, weakening their strength. Crixus and his followers separated from Spartacus and were later defeated by the Romans. 2. Lack of siege capability. Spartacus and his army were excellent in open field battles, but they lacked the ability to siege heavily fortified Roman cities. Even though his forces were large, they had no siege weapons or experience in storming city walls. This meant they could defeat armies in battle but couldn't take control of key Roman cities, making their rebellion unsustainable in the long run. 3. Betrayal by the pirates. At one point, Spartacus planned to escape Italy by hiring Cilician pirates to transport his army to Sicily, where he could start a new base of operations. However, the pirates betrayed him. They took his payment and sailed away, leaving him stranded. This forced Spartacus to fight Rome's armies instead of escaping as he had hoped. 4. Rome's relentless response. Crassus and the Roman legions. Initially, the Roman Senate underestimated Spartacus, sending small, weak forces that he easily defeated. But once Marcus Licinius Crassus took charge, Rome took the rebellion seriously. Crassus used massive Roman legions, more than 40,000 professional soldiers. Harsh discipline, executing his own men if they retreated. Trapping tactics to corner Spartacus' forces. Even though Spartacus tried to break out, he was surrounded and forced into a final battle. 5. Spartacus' final mistake. Choosing to fight instead of escape. Some historians believe Spartacus had a chance to escape north to safety but instead turned back to fight Rome. His reasons are unclear, but possibilities include: he wanted revenge on Rome. His men refused to flee, demanding to fight. He believed he could still win. Unfortunately, This decision led to the Battle of the Silurus River, 71 BCE, where Crassus' superior army crushed Spartacus' forces. 6. Outnumbered and overpowered in the final battle. Spartacus started with a large army, 70,000 plus, but by the final battle, many had deserted or been killed. He faced Crassus' disciplined legions, who had superior armor, weapons, and strategy. Spartacus fought bravely to the end, but he was killed in battle, though his body was never found. The remaining 6,000 rebels were captured and crucified along the Appian Way. Conclusion. Why did Spartacus fail? 1. Internal divisions weakened his army. 2. Lack of siege weapons meant he couldn't take key cities. 3. Pirates betrayed him, blocking his escape. 4. Crassus and the Roman military were too powerful. 5. He chose to fight instead of escaping when he had the chance. 6. The final battle was unwinnable. Rome had superior numbers and tactics. Even though Spartacus lost, his rebellion shook Rome and became one of the greatest stories of resistance in history.